A year ago today, I got discarded for a coworker. She left me for a coworker. And I remember we were living at the time when it happened. And I remember that first week of when I found out, I didn't eat a dang thing. I lost so much weight. I remember that week I lost 10 pounds. I only ate maybe like one meal a day. But I remember that week, I told myself, feel it, feel the pain, feel what it is that is all of this hurt. And the next week, try to get yourself back up again, because we're not going to let ourselves stay in this hole forever. We have to get back up. We can't stay here forever. We have to keep trying. We have to keep moving. We got to thug it out. So after that week, I got up again, and I haven't even seen my parents in a week either. They didn't even know what was going on. I would just tell them over and over again, "Hey, I'm not gonna go over to the house. I just don't feel the best. I'm sick. I'm not good." And I would just tell them. I would just hang up, and they would just be fine with it. But I didn't tell them the truth. It wasn't until a week later, after the breakup has already finally occurred, that I finally took the action of going to my parents' house and telling them. I remember that entire week building up and trying to be like, okay, I have to try my hardest to say it without crying, without in pain, without in tears. I haven't told anyone yet, except maybe my friends that know what was going on, that she discarded me, left me for someone else, but no one else has. So I remember driving to my parents' house, and I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous of how I was going to try to say it to them. And I remember when I got there, I parked my car and I started walking into the house. I was quiet. I felt like a gut feeling in my stomach, like everything was about to go wrong. Like I just didn't, I still wasn't, I was trying so hard to put up a front of everything's okay, I'm okay. But I knew it was just going to be a matter of time. And it was. I went into the house, and my parents were sitting on the couch like usual. And I go into the living room and I sit down, and they're like, "Oh, hi. It's been a while." And I'm like, "Yeah, it has been a while." And I sit on the couch, and they asked me this question, and it broke me. "How are you?" I immediately started to cry. I remember it was just hard because no, I haven't been asked that. And I was trying so hard to keep myself together. But that question, "How are you?" broke me, because I was already in hell. It was pain for a week. She discarded me for someone else. I still had to live in the apartment. I was sleeping on the couch because I just didn't want her to bring that guy over. And it was hard. I remember just telling my parents, and they're Spanish speaking only, so it was hard. Just imagine that. I was just telling them, "I'm not trying to cry. I was trying so hard not to cry. I'm so sorry. I just, it's hard." I said, "I'm not okay. Everything's gone bad." And they were like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And then I just told them, "She chose someone else. She left." And my parents were kind of shocked. They were just kind of taken back. I just told them the entire situation of what happened. Eventually, after I told them the story of how I got discarded and everything, they just kind of sat back and were just saying, like, my mom was just trying to reassure me the entire time, but I was just trying so hard not to cry. And eventually, after I got everything done and they stopped like reassuring me, my dad didn't say a word. He didn't even say much. He got up from the couch and he said, "Come with me. I want to take you somewhere." And I was like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Let's go. I want to go eat," he said. I was like, "Okay." So we went into the truck and he drove me all the way to Victor Rico's Mexican food. And he treated me like as if everything was normal in the car ride going over there. He was saying, "Have you had McVictoricos?" I said, "No." He's like, "They have pretty good food." I was like, "What are you on about?" I was like, I was just crying like a couple minutes ago, and you're on about Victoricos? What? He's like, "Yeah, it's pretty good food. Have you ever had it?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, I had it when I was working with my white coworkers, and it took me to Victoricos, and it was pretty good." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Their tacos are pretty good." So we went to Victoricos, and we sat in the lobby and we got our food. And I remember just eating. And my dad would just kind of talk to me like normal. We would just be talking about like how his work is, how my work was going, and everything. It was nice. I was scared that my dad was going to be like, "Get over it. It's fine. Like, get over this. You're a man. Let's go." But it wasn't until after we finished our food that we went back into the truck. Before we left, my dad turned on the truck and we were just kind of sitting there. And my dad said, "I see that you're trying so hard to be strong, but it's okay to let it out. You loved this girl with your heart, and we know that. And so it's okay if it hurts." For the longest time, my dad's always been very hard on me, very, very like, you have to get over stuff. You have to put yourself first. You have to kind of get after it. Get after it because no one else will. No one's going to be there to help you. But my dad that day was comforting me and he told me, "It's okay because I know what you feel like. I know what that feeling is like." And then he told me, "Because I was in your same shoes, it happened to me too. And I wished and prayed that this never would happen to any of my sons, but unfortunately, it happened to you." He said, "I'm sorry." And it wasn't his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. But even then, he just said, "I wish I could have protected you. I wish I could have helped you. I wish I could have done something." But I said, "It's fine." He just reassured me and just told me that it's okay to let it out. That you don't have to put yourself to be strong all the time. I know you're carrying a weight so hard on you, kid. You are strong. You're stronger than you look. So it's okay to let it out. He said, "I'm always going to be here for you." Me and my dad have never really had that type of bond. Us growing up being really close, I always distanced myself from him because he was very hard on me. And at times I didn't like it. But as I grow older now, I realize that he was just trying to protect me and trying to just make me get ready for life in general. But he always knew that heartbreak and love would always be something that would be hard for me. I remember he told me, "You love so hard. And I love that about you, but it's one of the things that gets you. You put all your trust and care into this girl, and in the end, it hurt you. That's not to say you were wrong, but it's okay to let it out." He then said, "I don't hold any resentment towards that girl that discarded you. All the times that I've met her, she was nice, she was friendly, she was caring, she was the best. So I will never hate her. I can't," he told me. "But if you and her ever decide to get back together, I won't be mad. I'll support you 100%. Because if that's who my son wants to be with, then that's who my son wants to be with, and I will support you." He ended the conversation with just saying, I'm here for you. I'll always be here for you." We drove back to the house, and my mom was just like, "Where'd you guys go?" And I just said, "Victor Rico's." And my mom was just like, "Victor Rico's?" And it was just kind of like a funny joke. But my dad was just then came into the house and he was just like, I was just talking to him about like, it's fine. Like what happened with him, it was bad and it's wrong. But we just kind of had a man to man talk. And then he said, "I also let him know that if him and her ever decide to get back together or something happens and they end up being back together again, we will support him as a family." And my mom said, "No, I'm not going to support that." And it was shocking for me. I was already like, whoa, what's going on? But my dad said, "We have to. If this is who he chooses, we are going to support him." My mom said, "I will not. I can't. I don't want my son to be crying like this again. I don't want it to happen again. If she did it once, she can do it again." And my dad said again, "But if that's what he chooses, if he chooses to be with her, he'll be smart enough this time around. We will support him." And at the time when I heard that, and now thinking back to it, it's like my mom knows from her point of view because she's lived that experience. She knows, she's probably seen it with her friends. And my dad's saying, "We will support him," because he knows what that love feels like. He knows it because he's been through it. He told me himself. So it was kind of funny to see what they both said. But at the end of the night, they both hugged me and they said, "It's going to be okay." I didn't expect reassurance from my parents. They have always been tough on me growing up. So I expected them to just be like, "Man up." But I was so wrong. They gave me what I needed that night. They gave me a hug. And they told me it was going to be okay.